Hey guys, well I just realized that it's been some time since I filmed an update on the Suburban, so here you go. This is the Suburban. Been getting a lot of work done on it. Just trying to really get this thing knocked out first because I know I have to get this ready. The Camaro we'll get it ready as we have time, but the Suburban is running for sure. So I got some of the ball peening underway here. I had some helpers that wanted to help me out, so they came out here and started beating it up with a sledgehammer. Also got the hitch cut off on the back, got all the wiring officially torn out that I didn't need. Also, let's see what else I've done. I've cleaned up all the doors, got rid of all the door handles, locks, all that good stuff. Still have some of the linkages in there so that way I can still open the doors if needed, and also before I weld them I'll be also making sure that they're locked. Just a little tip, you close your door, lock it, and then weld it. So many guys just close it then weld it. Well, if the welds break it could still come open, but if you lock it, well, at least you got one more mechanism that's already in the door that could keep it from coming open. You can also see here I got some holes cut in the floor, and that goes right to the frame. Now why is that, you might ask? Well, for the roll cage we're gonna put in the standard 4-point cage with the bar behind the seat, a bar above the steering wheel because that's what the rules say, and then a bar across each door. Well, the other thing we're allowed to use is a halo bar. So what I'm going to be doing, and I'll show you on the other side, I got the actual material there for it. I'm going to be basically welding the halo bar right to the frame. The rules allow that. So I'm going to take the pipe, it's going to come right up off the frame, weld to the frame, weld to the bar that goes across behind the seat, then it's going to go up, out the roof, over to that side, and then back down, and then weld again right to the top of the frame. Rules allow 4-point cage with 4 feet that go direct and weld directly to the frame, and so since the halo bar is incorporated all into that structure, I can run one solid pipe all the way from the frame up out the roof, across, and then back over. So that's essentially what I'm going to be doing. And so I've got it all kind of marked out in place about where I want everything. Got the holes cut. Now I just need to clean up the frame, clean up the rest of the metal, and then I'll be good to go. So here's my roll cage material. This was actually a steel frame that I had in my yard that the previous owners had used at one point for a swing, and then they used it just to hang plants and stuff off of. Well, it's 4.5-inch diameter by at least, man, I don't know, easily an 1/8-inch thick steel here. Pretty solid stuff. Rules say max 5-inch round, so this is 4.5. We're well within the legal limits. Good solid pipe, and man, does it weigh a ton. It takes a little bit of blocks and stuff to hold it up into place when I shove it in the sides here. So that'll be good and solid. At least I'm going to be good and safe. And so that's the material that I'm using to go from side to side, as well as for the entire halo bar. Now I still need to find material to use across the doors. That still is material that I need to find at a scrapyard or something, but I will find that, no worries there. I'm just going to try to keep the theme of it being good and solid metal, and again really solid and substantial, so hopefully it'll keep me safe. Again, up here in the front, let's see, I'll talk a little more about the everything on that side when I get over there, but got all the wiring condensed. This is a 350, but it is fuel injected. It's a 94, 95, I'm not really sure exactly the year. I've been saying 94, but some signs here tell me this is actually a 95 Suburban, but that all aside, it's computer controlled, injected motor. So I've got all the computer components. I've condensed a lot down. I was able to cut out a lot of wires. There's a lot of just extra circuitry for all these auxiliary power stuff. You got your windows, all that good jazz. So I've got it all condensed down to just a few components. I've got the main fuse box. I've got minor fuse box, which is actually just there as a placeholder at the moment. I probably could cut those out, but sometimes it's better just to leave it alone, and it makes it a little more waterproof that way too. And then the main computer module here, you know. So got it a hole cut in through the firewall. I've got all that coming right from the engine into the inside, so all the electrical is you know, now in the truck. There's no fuse boxes, there's no anything other than the wires running to the components on the motor itself. Again, got a hole cut here for the positive and negative and the alternator cables. That'll get sleeved. I'll probably put that quick snap-on sleeving here and then probably patch that hole up. I had to go bigger to get all the stuff through the wall, but now that it's in, it's unnecessary. So again, just cleaned up the outside, got all the handles cleaned up, got all the last of the chrome stuff. Do need to move the transmission cooler into the truck. Got to get a box or something for that, and that'll be relocated into the truck, so I'll keep that. There's no reason not to. The hood here. A lot more room when you get all that computer stuff moved into the truck or just cut out. So we got this all cleared out and a lot of open space under here now. The fan shroud is going. That's going to be going bye-bye, as well as the fan that's in here. It is a clutch fan. We have had nothing but bad luck with these things. You know, you do get some cooling, yes, but the potential is there for that to get pushed into your radiator, causing it to be bound up and to keep the belts from turning ultimately, or smoking and burning up the belt. Either way, it's not good generally. So what we have chosen to do in our trucks and vehicles for the Derby is we'll take out the mechanical clutch. So I'm going to take out the mechanical clutch as well as the shroud, because the shroud is only here for that fan. And then since that'll be out, I'll drop an electric fan that I've got from a couple other vehicles. We got some sitting around here, so I'm going to throw maybe at least one, maybe two electric fans in here in the place of this. Electric fans are nice because, you know, if they crack or whatever and they get pushed up against the engine, well, they just stop spinning. We'll put a fuse into the wiring, and it'll pop the fuse, or it'll just sit there and not spin. Obviously, it's not good for the electric motor to sit like that, but I'd rather have the electric motor stop spinning than my actual engine. So just what we do. So yeah, just clearing stuff out. It had ABS, that was interesting. It had airbags, that was interesting. You know, you just got to be careful when you're cutting stuff and take your time with it. I was just in the mood to do it, and so a couple evenings came out here and, well, shoot, I filled up a whole 50-gallon drum worth of wiring just out of the truck. So yeah. So here's the driver's side, just rigged up temporarily until I get my actual switch box in here and an actual gas tank. You know, for the Derby, I just took one of my. This is actually the rear window lock switch, and wired this in, and temporarily it is now my fuel switch. So that activates and turns on and off the fuel pump that is in the stock tank, which I still have in at the moment, until I get a boat tank hooked up. So that's just temporary, but it allows me to turn it on and off as needed, and it's separate from the key. You know, to each their own. Sometimes you leave it on with the key, but since I'm already going to have to wire a separate switch in anyway, I just figured I'd condense the wiring down and just run one wire to the fuel pump. Done. No big deal. You notice that the wiring is in a bit of a heap at the moment. That is because I need to weld the cage in. I'll weld the cage in, and then I'll use zip ties and whatever means I want at that point to actually secure it all up and out of the way. So for now, it's just sitting here. I've got anything that's live taped up, wrapped up, you know, well secured, and it's just enough to move it in and out of the garage as needed. I do have the battery box in. I know I've showed it on the other side, but it is bolted down. Got the battery in there, of course, and then again, once the roll cage is in, all this wiring and stuff will kind of get tucked up underneath that and up against the firewall, zip tied all in place, covered with what we tend to do is just take a garbage bag, wrap it up, you know, try to keep the water out of the electronics as best as possible. You know, the mud and the water from rain or whatever might get in there. You know, a little extra protection never hurts. So again, got it all stripped out. Here's a hole on this side. Frame is pretty solid, you know, it's just rusty. But I've got the holes cut here in the floor already for where I'm guesstimating where the halo bar is actually going to go through and bolt. So now I just need to finish working on the frame, and then I'll know exactly where I need to cut the holes in the roof. So that way what I'll do is I'm actually going to weld the, you know, just this, the shape here. We got the two uprights and the bar going across the top. We're going to weld that first outside of the truck so that way I can weld all the way around the pipe. And then we'll slide it through the holes in the roof and then straight down and then into these holes. Now this won't actually get welded to the frame until I have the bar going behind the seat. That placement is kind of critical, so we'll do that first, and then we'll push this bar, this halo bar, up into place. So now, halo bar. Here is the main halo. Got it in process. Again, this was just kind of this truss system. It just had two long pieces of steel pipe and then connected in the middle with this, actually, this chunk right here used to be right between these two, so it used to be quite a bit wider. So I've now cut it down to the length so that way it's, you know, directly right between frame rail to frame rail. Got it laid out here, measured across from center to center, both at the top and the bottom to make sure that it's straight. And what I'll do is I'm going to butt weld right here all the way around, and then once this is done, then this just gets slid through the roof and then it'll sit right on the frame. Now I do have it so that this it does not touch the roof here in these corners, but it will push into the roof in the center, so it'll kind of bow the roof down a little bit. Well, I do that just because I want to make sure that it's securely snug to the roof. And then I'll probably weld a couple little tabs on here and actually run bolts through the roof to the halo bar just to have a little extra protection there. Now these this bar here is not quite long enough. It's about 5 inches short on 5 inches short on this side and 9 on that side. So I'm gonna have to cut a little chunk out here and build a little spacer step. No big deal. You know, I'm already gonna be in there welding anyway, so what's another couple inches? So, but I mean, 4.5 pipe, 4.5 diameter pipe, 1/8 inch thick. Should be pretty darn solid for our needs here. So once this is all done, it should be a very safe truck to run, and that's always my goal, is I want to do this again. So safety is key. And again, here's those pipes again, and more ball peening on this side. And the other thing is you can kind of see some marks. I'm not sure if I'm totally sold on this idea because everyone has their own concept. When it comes to trucks, a lot of you guys like to take the rear bumper right off, take a tailgate or something, drop it down, but since I got the doors, it seems silly to me to, you know, not use these. This is what it was designed to run. So I'll weld bands across, weld this all up solid, and then what I think I'm going to do is just chop off these corners, and then maybe slice into it a little bit, bend this all kind of down and around, tuck it in tight, so that way it's not going to have the potential to hook on anything, but I still have this bumper for some extra strength. And again, this is just started. I got a bit of a crease going here, not too bad. Started, hopefully it kind of translates into the video, but gonna keep kind of driving this in, drive this in as well, so I end up with this nice rounded shape. And then we'll go, there we go. You know, we'll probably weld this all solid together with the nice big band like we did on the wagon. So there you go, guys. I've done quite a bit of work on the Suburban, and just realized that it's been a while since I did a video on it. So hopefully some of this was interesting, and keep checking in for updates, because hopefully this truck will kick butt. Don't tell my dad and brother, but I'm coming after you guys. 3 of us will all be running all 3 of the drivers for All For Him Racing will be running trucks at the Fulton County Fair together, running against one another. The Suburban from last year, my brother will have a Chevy pickup, and I've got this Suburban, so should be a good time. We're going to tear it up, put on a good show as always, and yeah, just keep checking in for updates. So until the next video, we'll talk to you later, guys.